Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Steve, welcome back to Friday at 4, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well, Chuck. How are you this week?
It's been a whirlwind of a week again. It's wild, but I'm still here. I'm standing.
Well, that's a good thing.
I'm going to make it, man. Yeah, it's been a while, I tell you. Every week this gets better and better, I tell you. Oh, it's crazy, but I'm still here. It is what it is. Well, we've made it to 100 episodes. This is our 100th. Crazy, ain't it?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
One heck of a
Yeah.
commitment, let me tell you. 100
Yeah, I'm gonna
episodes.
I'm gonna talk about that very thing. We have a guest today. Adam is waiting. He's gonna join us in a little bit here. He's gonna join the conversation with us. We'll introduce him in a couple of minutes. But I want to touch on something real fast before we get started. So here we go. Ready? Today isn't really about 100 episodes. It's about showing up 100 times. Anyone can have a great idea. Anyone can record one episode. But consistency is what separates a hobby from something that actually makes an impact. As we celebrate our 100th episode, I've been thinking a lot about what built this country. It wasn't just famous names and famous people. It was ordinary people like us who kept showing up every day to build businesses, serve the communities, leave something better than they found it, right? That's exactly what we tried to highlight on this show. The first 100 episodes were about finding great stories, but the next 100 are about creating measurable impact. Through Chasing the Stars, the Star Performance Index assessment, my goal isn't just to talk about small businesses. We want to help them become stronger, earn more trust, and become the businesses their communities are proud to support. What do you think?
I think that's awesome.
It's a
So
mouthful, but I think I covered it.
I think you covered it all.
I think I covered it.
What we keep saying over and over every week, that makes sense, right? Over and over every week. Okay.
Over every week.
Is it's two of us plus when we have a guest, unscripted. We're not sponsored. We're coming across with our experience, things we would like to do to help individuals and businesses out there.
Yeah.
We believe we're adding value. Our viewership, I guess, is the right word. Followers, whatever that word is. I'm not technically savvy, as you can tell. But it slowly is increasing. So more and more people are following us, which is great. We've have had guests. We've had people coming in with questions that we've answered on live now. So it's great. And we just continue to add value. So that's awesome.
Yeah, let me introduce Adam real quick. Adam Ward's with us. Adam, welcome to the show. Appreciate it.
Well, you know what? 100 episodes. I'm so impressed by what you guys did, and I'm thrilled to be on the show. So thanks, Charles. Thanks, Chuck, and Steve.
Appreciate it.
So there's three of us, right? There's Charles, there's Chuck, and the Steve. I'm only kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
I told
Yeah,
you, Adam,
right,
we
you
have
got
fun
it,
here
right?
too. Okay.
Yeah. So one thing I want to mention, Steve, real fast before we dive into this, because we're really punched for time today. I want to say that and I do want to apologize, Adam. I totally forgot you were coming on today. I'm glad you're here,
Sorry.
but I have been getting tons of emails of guests coming on the show. They've been scheduling, so I'm very proud that I'm able to do that. I'm glad we're having guests on the show. That means that people are interested in wanting to join and have speak on their mind of what they have to say about our conversations and to get on a podcast. And I love it. So, Steve, let's go ahead and get started with this topic today so we can get you and Adam, to start getting some conversation going. So what we got for the topic today?
All right. So what we kind of kicked around and came up with is as an employee, and again, for those of you who don't know me, I was in corporate America for 32 years in the IT space, and I saw a lot of things that go on. But one of the things that I experienced personally was towards the end of that career, there was almost 2 years where my wife got sick and she was battling a bunch of things, and I won't get into the details. But during those 2 years, when I would go to the office or meet clients, my attention honestly was more focused on my wife than on the client in front of me or the job I had to do because I was distracted.
Yeah, rightfully
Mhm.
so.
And
Yeah.
and that was me.
Yeah.
Imagine how many other people, and I'm getting to the topic in a second, but I'm like putting background into this. So imagine all the people for their entire career when a child, a significant other, a parent are not feeling well, how much time is lost? And we're going to dive into this, but how much time is lost? Now, the second part of that, which is coming into play more and more now, is people, especially in these times, people are going to work with financial challenges, paying the mortgage or the rent, the credit card, the car payment, put food on the table, pay a medical bill. Now they're being distracted by those things. So now when an employee comes to work, they've got the health issues, they've got the financial issues. How much is really being devoted on a consistent basis to their job and the company? And how
Yeah.
do we fix that? And that's the
Yeah.
whole topic of today's conversation.
Yeah. Very well said. I think, as someone who checked out their corporate job for probably at least the last 5 years, 5, 6 years of my corporate run, I checked out. I was there. Divorce, loss of family members. It hit me hard. And yeah, I get it. It's a great topic, and I think it's a good one to really try to dissect. And let's give Adam a little bit of time here. So Adam, go ahead and
Absolutely.
tell our audience who you are, what you do, and give us a little insight on the topic here that Steve and I are talking about.
Yeah, well, first I got to say, wow, that is, I mean, that's a deep, this is a great topic to discuss. And so for the past, I don't know, 19 or so years, I've consulted with corporations and from the work unit all the way up to the C-suite. And one of the things that I consistently see is variation in daily output, right? So that could be, and I'm not talking just at a department or division level, talking about an individual level. And the pace of society has gotten so fast and the expectations are on people to do so much. And really at the low end of the earning spectrum, it's very compressed.
Right.
And so you can have a high amount of responsibilities and a very little delta in what you're earning. So I can just imagine that the personal hiccup would cause huge productivity
Mhm.
impact. And I recently, dealt with some mental health stuff and was able to experience an incredible therapy. And just just knowing that, and just the countless, what I have millions in the U.S. and then more than that abroad. It's just, yeah, that's a daunting thing. And I don't think, Steve, I've ever thought about it that way.
Well, first of all, and it sounds like you're doing okay now, which I'm glad for.
Oh
Okay, I
yes,
know, I
yeah, yeah,
know we
yeah.
just
Thank
met,
you.
but hopefully, good, all was good.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it's been well known and well documented in countless journals about the emotional side and the strain of the illness aspect.
Hmm.
But with the economy the way it is, with the large layoffs, with who knows what's going on, people are in trouble financially. They are,
Hmm.
whether we want to admit it, well, we admit it, but whether the government wants to admit it is a whole different
Right.
discussion. But because that challenge is so wide and growing, more and more people are really having a problem. Part of the solution, well, the proposed solution, is that I think I saw a statistic the other day. There's like 150 million adults looking for a second and third income. That's a
Sad, isn't it?
scary, scary statistic.
Sad.
Wow.
It's
So
sad.
very sad.
Yeah.
So if you add that number into whoever's going into their full-time job and all they're thinking about is, do I pay the rent or the mortgage?
Hmm.
How do I put gas in the car? I got kids. I can skip a meal, but I got kids. I got a
Hmm.
spouse or a significant other, whatever politically correct we want to call it.
Hmm.
Um, how do we get away with this? And more people are starting to go second job, third job.
Hmm.
I'm giving up my car. I'm taking a bus to work. I'm walking to work. I'm bag lunch instead of buying when I get to work. What can I cut out? No more, and I hate to say this, but no more Starbucks, no more McDonald's, no more whatever.
Hmm.
How much less is it going to cost me to eat home instead of eating out?
Yeah,
So
Right.
when they do that, then you got the restaurants and all that stuff. So it's a compounding effect. Go
it
ahead.
is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Adam.
we ran a small residential cleaning business for a few years,
Okay.
and our primary employee were single moms.
Hmm.
And I ended up tripling the salary from the previous owner,
Hmm.
which was excellent. But what I found is the moms didn't have deep financial acumen. So
Correct.
they would get a bigger paycheck and they would go buy an Xbox, right? And then the next paycheck, maybe they
Hmm.
worked a few less hours and it wasn't as much. And
Yeah.
when you're talking to your buddies and the Uber Eats, and you're paying, $20 for, a drink, and then you've got your cell phone and your kids have your cell phone. And I had my manager teaching my employees financial stewardship. So there's
Hmm.
a piece of not being able to earn enough. And then even when they do earn,
Right.
like winning the lottery and then spending it on stuff. And so helping them put budgets together. So I think it's two pronged. And
Hmm.
that, what are their friends doing? And that doesn't mean it's right for them. And then, what is their actual earning, capacity?
Well, that
So,
that comes into, well, not comes into, but part of that whole statement is wants versus needs.
yeah.
I get paid a lot of money. I want an iPhone at $1,500. Do I really need it? No. I want that new pair of $500 sneakers. Do I need it? No. So part of it is taking whatever you have and using it the right way, maybe saving a piece for when you don't have it. That's the whole budgeting aspect.
Yeah.
But where do you go with that?
Yep. Yeah. One thing I'm gonna say real fast though is, Adam, I'm glad you're doing good and you're fine. You got through, whatever you
Oh,
were
yeah,
working
thanks.
working on, right? I like the fact that not even just small businesses, because that's what we promote and help here, but even corporations now are really taking mental health serious.
Hmm.
Growing up and Steve, you and I'm sure Adam, you too, as we've grown up, that's never been something that was ever
Yeah.
talked about in any
Mm-mm.
job. The line was suck on a buttercup and keep moving and keep working.
Yeah,
And did nobody
exactly.
cared, right? So now that people are really understanding that there are things that create mental health issues, and there are programs to help people get through whatever they're going through, which can help you be a little more productive if you can understand how people get through these tough challenges, just like Steve's talking about, right, with the economy and things that
Hmm.
are really challenging for us. That's in 2026, right?
Hmm. Well, I mean, the unpredictability of the two. You wake up one day and the gas is 270 a gallon. You go to sleep and you hear about this straight you've never heard of, and gas is 450 a gallon, and that doesn't change your paycheck, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
like Steve said, what you should do and what you are doing are two different things. And if you're spending
Mhm.
the way you want and you're living paycheck to paycheck, that stress is going to be there anyway. So add that on top of all of the other
Mhm.
societal
Right.
issues, and yeah, it can be very heavy on people.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially with Steve, with his business of financial services. I love the fact that Steve can look at your overall, high at a high level and really pinpoint how you can save a dollar, right, Steve? I mean, that's
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
You
I
can
mean,
help people.
I am I'm going into schools. I'm this weekend I'm going to finish a whole course to go into middle schools and high schools to start teaching kids before they turn 18 and then become an adult. So therefore anything you sign you're liable for.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to
Which
teach
is
them
important.
very,
Oh.
very basics. There is no products, there is no sales pitch. This is pure education of
Mhm.
how things work. And again, it's the wants versus the needs. It's how do you calculate interest on a credit card? How do you
Right.
use a credit card the right way for your advantage, not for the
Hmm.
credit card company's advantage? And there's a whole slew of topics that we cover. But I'm also starting to put together a program for companies
Mm.
Nice.
because then, and this came about yesterday from a whole other conversation, which is much more than we can do here. But that conversation really revolved around as an employee, more than 70%, and I was one of them, is financially illiterate. We're
Mm.
all good people. We want to
Hmm.
do better. We want the best for us, for our families. But if nobody ever taught us the basics, how do we know what questions to ask and what to do and don't do? And the answer is
Yeah.
we don't. So I learned the hard way because I had a business that failed. I went bankrupt and I make no bones about it. But that's why I do what I do because I want to help other people so they don't make the
I
same
think all three of
mistakes.
us did that, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So
right.
that's hard.
It is. So
It
I'm
is hard.
looking to put a program together that says when an employee walks in the door as I shouldn't say a person walks in the
Hmm.
door as a new employee, understand benefits and how to get the most out of it for the least money. Understand your retirement account to get the most out of it for the least money. Understand how to budget your money.
Right.
These are things that if you take this when an employee walks in the door, they are less like because they're going to take that home and
Right.
teach their significant other, their kids. They're less likely to have the financial
Right.
challenges. So now they're going to pay more attention to their job
Yeah.
and the company.
Excellent.
That's the point of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
excited
very
just
good.
the fact that I'm going to hopefully start making a difference in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
Just like what I said right in the beginning, help them become stronger, right? More trust
Yep.
and become businesses their communities and are proud to
Yeah.
support, right?
Yeah.
And that can go for people just like with businesses, right? We want
Yep.
to be stronger. We want to be more supportive, right?
Right. Right. So I'm going to shift this for just a second, Adam, into Chuck. I'm going to throw it back to you for a second.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. He does this
So
every episode.
I'm sorry.
He do this every episode. I love
I
it.
do this every episode, but I'm giving you
I
warning.
love
Okay.
it.
So if I'm helping people, be it individuals, families, at home, in work, when you go out to businesses and you, again, regardless of the type of business, for the service you're providing, for you and what you do is to give them ways to improve,
Mhm.
open their eyes to what they're doing right and what they could change so they get better, the business gets better, their service to the client gets better. So, how do
Yeah.
you see potentially this fitting, or maybe not? How do you, again, what you do, how does that fit into what we're talking about here?
It's pretty cool that you mentioned that. And you read my mind every time, every Friday we do this
Oh,
because
it's a scary thought. I'm reading his mind.
it's a
Go ahead.
scary thought. And this
98
episode of my
episodes. I mean, come on, you better be by now.
I know,
yeah,
really.
right. Now, here's what's wild. This episode that I need to get done by tonight because I release an episode of my show the end of every month, and I'm stressed because I'm trying to get this one done. And it's about 250 years of America, and I chose three
Wow.
businesses, and my goal was to get either a podcast interview with them or I sent them three questions to answer
Hmm.
about themselves for the podcast. Well, nobody responded. And I got
Wow.
mad. I got upset, right? Because I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? Blah, blah, blah. You know how people always, it's always me, right? So today I had to go to, and I visited one of the businesses today to finish some filming. And lo and behold, the owner was there.
Hmm.
I didn't bother her too much. I did my filming. I did what I had to do, and you'll see it in the show. And what's cool is, as I talked to her before I left that location, she says to me, "Oh, I don't even check that email. I'm such a bad business owner." Boom. So she has no idea what I said, no idea about my assessment, right? She had no idea who I was. I even had my shirt on, right? She had no idea. That's cool because now she has my website, she has my link, she has this podcast link, right? So I'm going to reach back out to her after this episode is done and talk to her and say, hey, look, this is what happened. This is what went down. right? This is how I help you. And I'm going to take, I printed out assessment that I did for her business and physically give it to her and say,
Nice.
read this.
Yep.
Because when you watch this episode, you're going to see how she has no idea of what she's missing out on, you know?
Mm.
And it's interesting how this topic came up this for today and that show kind of, ties to that. It's very interesting because it really it's going to hit her in the face like, wow, I had no idea that that's even a thing, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's going to tie beautifully into this episode. And then going forward as my assessment, as I, help these businesses with reviews and their competitors, this is going to really take a big burden off of their shoulders of people who aren't really aware of
Right.
these problems that they could be having that could
Mhm.
cost them $5,000 a month,
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's amazing.
Mm, mm. So
Yeah.
Adam, how
Adam.
does this
Yeah.
fit in? Like the way I transitioned that one, huh?
Yeah, we transition right to Adam. Go for it.
Adam,
Or that was
boom,
that was
punt.
very slam edit.
Um, so in your business,
Mhm.
I guess expand just a little on what you had said in the beginning. Um, are you do you have W-2s? Do you have 1099s? Is it all you? How does this fit into what you do?
Yeah, so I work individually with
Okay.
businesses,
Oh, so it's
and
you. Okay.
I become a partner of theirs, 1099 of theirs, actually.
Gotcha.
And if I need to bring in additional help, I have a whole network of people that I lean on.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I would spend most of my time assessing. I don't have the residential business anymore. COVID
Mm.
made that go bankrupt.
Yeah, man,
So the
sorry.
consulting firm, yeah, no, thank you. That was
Yeah,
rough, but it
yeah,
happened. I mean, it happened to a lot of us. So,
yeah.
but yes, but my consulting business, we spend a lot of time with clients, assessing what are things that are adding organizational friction that are reducing the output, without having to hire people, without having to buy equipment, and you could still get output from it. And it sounds like,
Mm.
Steve, like what you're saying, you're losing a chunk of people's output by their stress on
Correct.
Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs. And
Mhm.
so that's hard.
Yeah,
It
you
is.
nailed it.
It is.
You did. You nailed it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
COVID changed everything. COVID changed the world. And I think I'm so sick of saying COVID this and COVID that because we need to get past that COVID phase now and say, we're done with that. We need to be
Yeah.
better as humans to change our output, right? And change our outlook on what we need to do as humans. We're so still in our silos that we're not partnering and we're not helping
Mhm.
each other. We're still stuck in that me atmosphere. And I think it's part
Mhm.
of what Steve is alluding to, right? With what's happening in these businesses and in your mind, right? This is really causing that problem of you're at work and you're not even really focused on what you're doing. You're just
Yeah.
zoned
correct.
out half the time, right?
Yeah.
Checked out.
Yeah. Mhm.
Unfortunately, people are checked out. There's
Mhm.
part of it is the healthish side of it, the health issues. Part of it is the financial issues. Part of it is just the world itself is getting
Yeah,
so crazy that
so true.
people are concerned about their neighborhoods, their friends, the country, the world,
Mhm.
that by the time you get into work, your
Mhm.
mind is somewhere else, regardless of where, but
Right.
it's somewhere else.
Mhm.
It's not on the task at hand, is it? It's on something
No, it's not.
else.
And
Yeah.
how do you bring it back?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of companies do they, if you're creating, and if you're in like a manufacturing job and you're building widgets, you can say to somebody, your target is 100 widgets a day. But
Mhm.
if you're not and you're doing whatever you're doing, how do you manage? How do you measure what somebody
Right.
is doing? Because you can't improve something if you don't measure it to know whether it's good or
Mhm.
bad, too high, too low, down the middle.
Right.
So some things you can't measure.
Remember how
So
you said you asked the question when we first started and we talk about how my week's going, how is this week going? And I am a victim of that because I'm so overwhelmed right now with everything going on that how do I hold myself accountable to make numbers of what I want to do to accomplish daily, weekly, and monthly?
Mhm.
Because that is my struggle right now is I am person you're talking about in this episode. I am that
Mm,
very person that is I'm not focused all over the place. I struggle with getting this episode done. I'm serious. This is the last day and I'm really like, I'm there, but I got some work to do and I can't fall asleep 8 o'clock tonight. I gotta get this done. Right. It's a challenge. And I like that. Like you can't check out because when you check out, everything falls behind. And now how do I get
mm.
forward? Right.
Right.
Man, I think back at you, Adam, Steve, yeah, have at it.
Not easy. When you fall behind, it's very difficult. You get into that downward spiral and it's hard to get out because you
Mhm.
can
Yeah,
only work so many hours and then you collapse.
yeah.
When you
And Adam, the hint
collapse,
to what's bothering me right now is gas is a big expense for me for what I'm currently doing.
Mm,
mm,
And when you said about how gas goes from 250 to almost $5 a gallon, it's killing me.
mm,
mm,
And that is a daily expense that I need to get rid of, and I don't know how. You know,
mm.
it's tough. It's tough. But that one expense alone has got me so checked out and stressed that
mm.
I'm still trying to
Yeah,
figure out how do I get forward. It's tough.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
tough world right now. You know.
yeah. That's right.
Hmm.
Oh, Steve's thinking.
So
Look,
I'm
I
trying to
smell it
debate
from New
whether I
York.
want to be a wise guy or not.
I know, right? It's like, what do I want to do here?
Nah, I won't. Okay.
Nah.
Um, but yeah, there are some things, unfortunately, that we have no choice. We have to put gas in the car. And there's only so many places you can go because they're all about the same price.
Yeah.
You must eat. But again, you can eat a steak, you can eat a hamburger, so you
Hmm.
can, to a certain extent, adjust your food expense to a certain extent. But, you still have to live somewhere, so you have to pay a mortgage or a rent. Um, you have to wear clothes, so you try to keep them as long as you can before you have to replace them. So there are some things you
Hmm.
can adjust, some things you can't. And it becomes a challenge when that money at the end, you have a certain nut you have to hit,
Yeah.
and you got to work and work and work until you get to that nut. And
Hmm.
yeah, and it's grinding. It's very
Hmm.
grinding.
Grind is real, ain't it, Adam?
It is. And for everybody. I mean, and you don't want to just slap prices. You don't want to just change prices because you're worried about where your customer is going to go and what they're going to decide.
Correct.
And I mean, after all the things we've been facing in the past, 4 or 5 years with inflation, I mean, we're all fatigued from it. So,
Yeah. That's one thing that keeps me going, right? Is I don't ever play victim, woe is me. I always every day say I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone.
Mm,
Everybody's going through what I'm going through at different levels,
mm,
right? Mine might be a level 9, Steve's might be a level 4. Adam's might
right.
be a level 15, he's off the chair, man,
Hmm.
but we're all going through this, right? And I get it. I'm not alone, but what's the answer, right? How do we get through this, man? It's driving
Hmm.
me nuts.
like I said before, that's why so many people are looking for a second and third job because
Mhm.
they need that extra money. And uh, yeah, for again, for whatever that means to different people, they need
Right.
to make money somehow.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Support. How do we support each other? That's what I'm big on. I want to support. I want to help your business get better. I want to show you how you can change things to make your business more productive, and in turn will save you money and show you that you just wasted $6,000 by hiring a new employee. Keep the one you have. It's just one little example. I'm sure Adam, that's kind of what you do too, right? You're looking to help companies save that money, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the bigger the business, the easier it becomes to find those savings. But even if if you've got a founder who's been running it, he's hitting at a pretty good stride, there's things that they overlook on a daily basis that they just think, well, that's the way we've done it already. Like, well, it's not upset the apple cart, and you just get into a rhythm, and then you just start accepting the waste that's inherent to smoothness, or you've got other things to focus on. Like one of the things I like to do with clients, I like them to come up with what are the very few things that you as a leader need to do that someone else can do the rest. Like if you're a dad, you're the only dad for your kids, or if you're a husband, you're the only husband for your wife, hopefully. And so there's these, yeah. Then there's these other things that other people can do, right? That, okay, that friend or that volunteer or, whatever. The same thing applies for when we're at work. And it's easy for high performers to start, to keep all of that around, or for people to invite other people to meetings that don't need to be there. And so I like people just to take a real deep reset. What do I need to do every day? What do I need to do every week? What do I need to do every month? And then just try to boil it down to that and get through that list. And then that way you can handle things when they flare up or emergencies. And we know queuing theory, once you get 80%, and then there's a wait, you're waiting longer than the process itself. And it's just, so without margin, money margin or time margin, it's really hard. Or as we know, just discuss emotional margin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you nailed it. I think this is a great podcast episode for our 100th episode. I like this topic. I like the direction we went with this. I think it has a lot of value. And at 100, when I hear 100, right, I'm thinking level 100. It's like you correlate that to that number, right? It's like, at what speed am I running, right? Am I at 20% or am I at 100%, And
yeah.
I like to say that I'm at 150 mile, I'm at 100%, 150%, but man, I'm always trying to 25, And I just think there's so much to this, right? There's so much that can be done and still needs to be done for all three of us, with what our businesses are and what we do and how we help people. And I think what's cool is that all three of us kind of tie together because we all can have the same one client, and we could hit them all from three different angles and help them all at one time, right? I think that's a powerful thing, right?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. 516-727-2294. Reach out to Steve.
And Chuck is 410-935-6132. And Adam.
How do we reach you, buddy?
808-688-3986.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Adam, thanks for coming on this 100th episode with us, man. We really appreciate it. It's a really special episode for us. It's been a great conversation. Looking forward to the next 100. And man, it's a pleasure. It just blew my mind today thinking that, I'm going to go home and record a 100th episode of a podcast.
It's a big milestone. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. And, our viewers are growing every day. We've got people that reach out and they say things like, hey, it was a great episode. I really like that conversation. And sometimes they say it hits home, it really hit home for me. And I like that, right? I like that people listen and people do get value out of what Steve and I and our guests that come on talk about, So it's great. So I appreciate you guys coming on, taking the time. Adam, I really appreciate you taking the time. And I
my pleasure, Chuck.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Adam.
I apologize that you popped in. I'm like, oh my God, I forgot I had a guest today.
All good. All good. I'm ready.
Well, Adam, you are welcome back anytime you want. Just to let you know.
Exactly right. Yeah, come on anytime, man. You got the link now. Just pop in, and you don't have to announce it. Just pop in, man. We're good with it,
Yeah.
All right.
So
seriously, we are. Just pop in.
Yeah, serious.
Good.
Just pop in. You got the link, man. If you're available, just pop in, man. We love it.
Yeah.
And I would love to follow up with you even more after this podcast, Adam, to really pick your brain more. I really want to learn more about you and what you do because I think you have value. When Steve and I talk all the time, after this podcast, we talk. We follow up, and I think we have a lot of value. So we're interested in really talk more with you. So
appreciate that. Thank you. Then let's connect. Thanks for having me on number
absolutely.
100.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate it. And again, as Steve, on this Friday at 4 because
it's 4:00 somewhere.
Adam, that's the thing we do, man. At 4:00 somewhere, we have our episodes.
Yeah,
we love it.
Jimmy
man.
Buffett. Oh wait, that's 5.
Right, close.
Alan Jackson, right? 5:00 somewhere. That's where that
There
came
you go,
from.
Alan Jackson.
Throwing it back, man. Guys, it's been a great episode. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it, man.
Will do.
Nice.
Have a great day. Thank you again, Adam. Have a great
Yeah.
weekend, everyone.
Yep, guys, thank you. Thank you again for coming on. Appreciate it. Thanks for our
Chuck.
audience for watching, and I hope everybody enjoyed this 100 episode as well as I, Steve, and Adam did.
Yep. Yep. All right.
All right,
Enjoy.
guys.
Thank you.
Take care. See you. Have a great rest of the day and have a great weekend.
You got
Thanks,
it.
you
Take
too.
care. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.